everybody. Happy Friday to you. So excited to be here with you today for another episode of The Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I thank you all so much for being here today. And I'm super excited that we have the immense pleasure of welcoming back a very special guest. You might have seen him on Project Joy Live even this morning. Our guest today is not just a talented musician, he's a storyteller whose music touches the soul and transforms the spirit. Today, we're here to celebrate the release of a brand new song, Run for the Roses, the latest single from the remarkable Fall Guy album, inspired by the life of John Cheetham. This project beautifully captures the essence of resilience and redemption through melody and lyrics. Our guest music is a journey through the highs and lows of human experience, bringing light to stories that need to be heard and felt. As we dive into the conversation today, we'll explore the deep connections between the musical creations and the powerful stories behind them, celebrating how every note and word can lead to breakthrough moments. So let's get started and immerse ourselves in the world of musical storytelling by welcoming back the incredible Ray Coates to the show. Hello, Ray. So good to see you
Hello,
again.
Jessica. Hello, how are you?
Good, good. I think we had a wonderful chat this morning on Project Joy, and this is going to just get to expand on some of the little things that we touched on this morning. So I'm excited to have you back again.
Fantastic. It was lovely being with you, and the questions were brilliant. Really made me think. Really did make me think about songs from life. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny because I there's really sort of a mildly evil joy that I get from asking people questions that I can't answer myself.
I get you. I do get you because I do it the other way around too. So I ask people questions, and sometimes it's certainly a lot easier than answering them. But there we go. That's my job tonight. So I'll do my best.
I love it. I love it. Well, Miss Brittany's joining us out there. Happy Friday to you, Miss Brittany. Let us know if you're joining us live or on the replay today. We would love for you to chime in on our conversation today. So, you've been on once already this season because you've been working on this project, Fall Guy, that is a collection of songs based on the life of John Cheetham, who we also met on on the show here, and got to know a little bit more about him and what actually happened. But let everybody know, in case they haven't seen those two episodes, what inspired you to get involved with this project in particular.
You summed it up in your introduction. Two
Mm.
words: resilience and redemption. So effectively, what has happened with John's experience, because this is how he's made it happen, he's won his life back. He lost it for a period of time through no fault of his own, and now he's won it back. And essentially, I can share it briefly because I've spent a lot of time with John and read John's amazing book, Fall Guy. Here we are. So incredible. Shot by the Bulgarian mafia, involving a property deal, a real estate deal, for somebody who came into the UK, approached John because he was in property. John went to Bulgaria to secure some land that effectively was going to be turned into a racecourse ground. And of course, the Bulgarian mafia took issue with that because I'm assuming they had other plans. So that's why John was shot, pushed over a bridge, left for dead, kidnapped, tortured, and this happened over a period of time. And then, of course, John survived, but didn't survive the effects that still last through to today, but effectively took away his ability to walk and talk for 4.5 years. And in a different way, like me and like many other people, which is why it's so connecting, not just for us, but for so many other people. We are examples of that resilience and redemption that you're talking about. So, yes, the songs are a personal triumph of John, a personal victory of John, but they're also a reminder of you can you can be victorious over the most astonishing odds. And many people are examples of that. And the songs and the book and the book to film project that we're working hard on, all of those things are reminders to us all of the strength, the absolutely incredible strength of the human spirit. And spending time with John regularly, he refers to himself as just John, and it's the one and only time we disagree, because I don't think anybody is just a person. You know, we are far more than that. But it's his way. It's his way of coping, and I understand that. But the guy is incredible. Absolutely, a living, breathing miracle.
Yeah. I think it's so important what you do to take stories and bring them um to the world of music, and present them in a way. I think stories in general are so important because, like you're talking about, sometimes we think of ourselves as just whatever, but we have all of these experiences that has made us up. But I also think, one of the things that's been on my mind heavily lately is how we often get into a space of comparison about the trials or challenges that we've experienced in our lives. And while you or I may not have been a fall guy before, when we hear John's story, a lot of times we're able to relate them to, like you said, to things that we've been through in our own lives. And so imagine if we could get out of this space of comparison and just find that space of connection through these stories that we're hearing and go, hey, we're not so far apart here.
So true, and that connection is being human, quite simply, with all of the complexities, intricacies, beauties that are attached with that, all of those different elements. And I find I am not minimizing my experience by John's experience, but it does create a level of context for me. I don't think that's ever anything you can put on somebody else. And
Right.
John never would. John wouldn't, for likes with me, say, "Well, you only lost your voice for a year, Ray. Think of what it was like for me. I lost it for 4.5 years." You can't do that. You
Right.
can't do that. But what you can do is take that experience and apply it as a relevant encouragement that there are people who have had different traumas, maybe even perhaps you could say deeper traumas. That's me speaking on behalf of me. So I
Mhm.
look at somebody like John and just think there is a connection there. You're quite right. Not a comparison, but a connection of,
Right.
wow, wow. I want to amplify this human being. And that's a core of me. If I'm going to share anything about me this evening, that's my desire. I have no fear to some degree, apart from the limitation of societal conditioning, of amplifying myself. I have no
Mhm.
fear of that. Um, but of course, that's just me.
Yeah.
Back to that just again, yeah. But I want to do that for as many other people as possible, and the songs to speak for the common experience. And there are so many things that we share in common, more than we do differences or perceived differences. I was thinking earlier today, it might be a controversial subject, but I feel impelled to say it, which is if you think of a confirmed atheist and a believer in God,
Mhm.
those two individuals, as much as they appear juxtaposed, they have opposite views, even those two views have so much in common.
Right.
And just that simple thought, I thought if we move away from I believe this and I believe that to the more that we have in common, and that's even true of somebody who doesn't believe in God
Mm.
or isn't sure at the moment, and somebody who says they do. And I just think just that simple truth of that's where humanity begins, because even though we might have those two alternate views, we still have so much in common.
Right. Right. It's such an important point, and I hope that you will hear that as we take you on a little musical journey today. We're going to be playing throughout this episode all four songs that so far have become a part of the Fall Guy album, which is going to be part of a movie project that they're working on, and all sorts of things. And we'll start out now with playing for you Fall Guy, which is the title song based on the book and the life of John Cheetham. Do you want to sum up this song in a sentence or two, Ray?
Yeah, I think really this is where we chose to begin, because of course it makes sense, as you've already said. It's the same title as the book, but also this is really what sets the scene. It's John's lyrics. I want to emphasize that for all of the songs. So this is John's testament to what he experienced, and even though of course it was dark, that's where you need to begin, and that's where John's story is in terms of us sharing it musically. This experience that he had of being shot and left for dead. So that's really essentially, and listen carefully to the lyrics, because they are John expressing what happened.
Well, in the words of Rodgers and Hammerstein and Julie Andrews, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Here's Fall Guy.
Sometimes we are made to take a fall, scanning the horizon, although it's dark. Life was good, now you've fallen apart. Pass us by, happy to collect. Body damaged, mind a wreck. Surrounded by sirens all around, racing through that cold war town, dodging the red stop signs, views of only your telegraph lines. Days that you shine and days you hide the pain, whilst looking down on your sea of fate. You know sometimes it's just too late. Sometimes we are made to take a fall, no matter how high we stand, no matter how tall. Don't know the reason why I became the fall guy. Protocol is the echoed word as they depart and disperse. Trolley dashed a white coat room, all over way too soon. Heavies came and throwing away, unfortunately left it a little too late. Soft hands holding frozen pasta down, dampened rust was inside out. Days that you shine and days you hide the pain, whilst looking down on your sea of fate. You know sometimes it's just too late. Sometimes we are made to take a fall, no matter how high we stand, no matter how tall. Don't know the reason why I became the fall guy. One leg down on terra firma ground, I can still hear the angels' amplified sound. Now there's no escape route to find. I've just simply lost my mind. Sometimes we are made to take a fall. No matter how high we stand, no matter how tall. Don't know the reason why I became the fall guy. Don't know the reason why I became the fall guy. Fall guy.
That was Fall Guy by Ray Codes, based on the book and life of John Cheetham, also the title track to the upcoming album and movie project. So exciting that all of that, you've been working on it behind the scenes. You guys have been traveling all over the place together and having some experiences, which is which is really fun. I think leading up to this, and you and I talked briefly earlier about how being on this side of things, when you're getting to see the turnaround, the next part of the story for people, it really is a privilege to experience that. What has that part, you want to share what that's been like for you, being on this sort of creation side of things?
To see John smile. For me, yeah, that's, and I do well to remember that, but I've seen through the process, because it's a tremendous amount of growth. Before we started writing the songs, John had released the book, so he'd achieved that. So it's not just that, we've achieved all of this together. John achieved that, and then when we met and we spoke, I could see the beginnings of something, and generally speaking, I always say yes, and then think about how something can happen. But with John, it was just such an understated, and I think it's a very English thing. I know this is at times in me, even though I'm a little bit more unafraid of sharing a more expansive side of myself. But I just felt like I really wanted to, and still do, to amplify John's life, and not to share it as, which would be fine and is amazing, when I invite John to stand up and people applaud him at a couple of, we had a live event yesterday evening, and the audience were applauding John, and I've sung his songs live, and he's expressed how surreal that is. Singing his words, and of course they're out, available for people to listen to, and John's book's available for people to read. And now we're moving into that growing expansion, because John's experience, and I do want to say this very briefly, John's experience was the complete opposite of everything I've just said. Heavies came in throwing weight. So in Bulgaria, he signed an agreement to say that nothing happened, because they didn't want the world to know what happened. Then he arrived back in the UK, and there was a big kick-off about what happened, and then nothing. And John has shared this many times, that news stations, radio stations, papers involved, and then nothing happened. And this was before Bulgaria were about to enter the EU. So I don't know, but I think there's a good chance, and certainly this is what John suggests, that things were just swept under the carpet. Right. So my feeling is, which brings out the protective side of me, I don't think so. One thing you won't do is ignore. You may choose to not like, you may choose to swipe by, but you definitely won't be given the opportunity to ignore. Right. And that's what gets me up in the morning and gets me to do all of the work that I'm doing at the moment, also on a personal level. on a fitness level, because I'm determined, not just in this, but in this, to not have this as an unknown or a little known life.
Right.
And that motivates me, because I've always connected with a voice for the perceived voiceless. And I'm certainly not saying John can't speak for himself, because he definitely can. But I also know you get more achieved by more voices adding themselves. It's like the difference between a solo singer and a choir. When you hear a choir, it's like, whoa, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't feel that with one voice, but certainly it's more of an impact when more people are involved in whatever the thing is. So that's why we're also reaching out, which I know will come out in the next songs, and a couple of things that I'll share later on as well, that we're welcoming people to come on board with us and to be a part of the collective voice of a man who was ignored in his own country, certainly silenced in another country, to share what happened. And that can also be a tremendous inspiration in a number of different ways for others.
Right. Right. One of the things that really hit home for me in when we had John on the show was just realizing how recent this really was. Like that these are things that are happening now, and they're going to continue to happen unless we come together and stand up in solidarity of whatever it is that we believe is right or wrong in a situation. It's going to continue to happen. And so I think what you're saying is so important. The next song that we have to share for you guys before we go to break is the song Cry, which is the second song on the album. That's when we had you come on the show initially this season. And this song gets me every time. I think that the music, Danielle said it about out in the audience about the last song, and very haunting, but in a good way. like just that sound. And Cry does that for me. It really takes me to a space of just needing to emote something, and really feeling that. So what would you like to say about Cry before we share it?
I think you've summed it up beautifully, and really we all come together in the final chorus, because again it's one of those strange unifying things. You mentioned it this morning, that it's not just crying in sadness and grief and loss, even though that is a large part of the song. There are, of course, tears of joy and happiness, and tears of relief to get to a situation. I can't go into detail, but I had an experience the other day with somebody that I was doing some training with, and the release of overcoming something that they faced that was a very, very traumatic experience for them. And it was on the road, and the relief actually caused them to cry. And they explained it. It was the release of facing the situation that they didn't think they could face on the road. And the relief after that was immense. So Cry, it is John's experience, but it's a human being expressing emotions that we all feel. And when you get to the last chorus, that's why the lyric is, some days we all need to cry. And it's an expression on behalf of all of us.
I love that. Danielle said, love that, tears of relief and overcoming. Felt that. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Danielle. Well, without further ado, we're going to take you to listen to Cry. We'll go to break, and then we'll come back more with Ray Codes, so don't go anywhere.
I thought I heard the buildings cry as I casually walked on by. On my way to meet a friend, first thing she said, get those thoughts out of your head. I want this now to end. Go and smash down glass ceilings, seek out those opportunities. Open up that lonesome locked door, just like you've done for years before. You may lose a battle, but win the war. All I wanna do is cry. All I wanna do is cry right through the night. All I wanna do is cry my battlefield from the inside out. All I wanna do is cry, 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 cry out loud. We kissed and said our goodbyes. Then I began to realize the power in everything that she said. Erase those things out of your head.
I want this now to end.
So I went and smashed down those ceilings, sought out those opportunities, and opened up that lonesome locked door, just like I'd done for years before. Remember, you may lose a battle, but win the war. All I had to do was cry. All I had to do was cry right through the night. All I had to do was cry my battlefield from the inside out. All I had to do was cry, 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 cry out loud. Building is just a place the memories hide. It's not a home without you on the inside. We need to smash down those ceilings, seek out our opportunities, open up that lonesome locked door, just like we've done for years before. Remember, we may lose a battle, but we'll always win the war. Some days we all need to cry. Some days we all need to cry right through the night. Some days we all need to cry our battlefield from the inside out. Some days we all need to cry, 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 cry out loud. Cry.
About more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, Are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back to The Breakthrough Show. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and we're here today with the incredibly talented Ray Coates, celebrating the release of Run for the Roses, which we'll hear in 2 more songs. Hang tight with us. It's coming. It's happening. We love that song, Cry. Brittany was in the comments talking about how you may lose the battle, but win the war. We love that lyric. And she's like, I cry all the time. So it's
Me too. Me too. Me too.
yeah.
Not today though. Not today though.
today.
Last
Not
time I did. It was very emotional. But but it's part of being human, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I love that song, and it's such a, when you guys hear this in order, when Ray asked if we could do all of the songs today, I said yes, make sure we do it in order so you guys can really be taken on a journey with us today as we celebrate these songs of the Fall Guy album. It's incredible. Danielle's over there crying too, so we're all crying today. It's great. The next song on the album that you worked on is Folklore and Tales, which is the one that premiered when John was on the show. And this one, I didn't even realize, like, I had gone back after the show and really dug into the lyrics of the song, and there's a lot of little, like, if you know anything about history or anything like that in this song that I found very interesting. What was the sort of inspiration with Folklore and Tales?
Well, John was writing from the point of view of well-established events, including JFK's assassination and the question marks that were raised around that, and still are, as an example of a cover-up. And in the history of mankind, there's been many. So he made a comparison of that with his own life, because effectively that's what happened with him. So in Bulgaria, he was hushed up directly, sign, don't, nothing happened. And in the UK, an apathetic, and I think that's being kind, an apathetic approach to what happened with John. So really, I see it as questioning narratives that are given, and obviously that was either spun of John's and or ignored of what happened to John. So he had his own tale, his own life to tell. And one lyric particularly that I absolutely love is, I'm still here and looking for more. And my own story has become a tale and folklore. So that's where we say that's been achieved. John's done that. That's available worldwide. Fall Guy, John's book, is available worldwide. So he's a lot of people ask him, were you worried about sharing this?
Right.
Because you were shot by the Bulgarian mafia. So this is now public. And even in the UK, John changed the names in the books, but the people that were involved in what happened across the world and in the UK, they know who they are on a local level as well. And I spoke to John about that yesterday. I said, I think it's incredible and shows that here's another message, which is John is not about vendetta. He's not about vengeance, but he is about victory. Yeah. And that's the strength of the man. And that's the opportunity for all of us, because sometimes vendetta, vengeance, wanting to get your own back, can be a very, very powerful force for achieving certain things, but it's not John's desire, which is why I think it's fascinating that he changed the names in the books. In the book, even though it will be quite apparent, because it's a very unique situation that happened. So those who were involved will know, and that takes a tremendous amount of courage for John to have done that. So essentially, folklore and tales is question mark over things that have happened historically, and an application of John sharing. He doesn't want that to be the case with himself, and he is still here, and he is still looking for more.
Right. And I want to speak too to the bravery, the amount of bravery that you have to experience as well, not even just in agreeing to share John's story, because when you agree to share somebody's story, whether it's on a show like this or in a song that you're helping to write or publish a book or anything like that, you're agreeing to be part of it, which then brings you into the story, which means that, I think I know times for doing this show when I've been a little bit nervous to share certain things because you're agreeing to be part of it. What has that experience been like from your perspective in essentially agreeing on to take on some of the responsibility of sharing the story, so now they know who you are too?
It's not something I've thought a tremendous amount about, but I have thought about it. And for me, the integrity and the responsibility to John is greater than the fear of that. And that's how I measure most things in life. If I'm going on stage, I tend to have quite a bit of nervous energy, as a lot of singers do. But the desire to share a message and the message is stronger. So that's how I would explain how I feel with John. I don't court death, I don't court pain, and anything like that. However, the fear of that is less than the desire I have to amplify John, who he is. And another example, and I would genuinely do that and I think I likely will do that in other cases as well as a result of this. So that's how I see creativity has such an incredible voice to amplify stories, journeys. I know you experience this very much yourself with promoting what people have been through and the value of that for others, and that's more to me than my concern over my own life.
Yeah. Brittany says that she loves that, and I was thinking what a huge, just that alone is could be such a huge breakthrough moment for people to just like when we make a choice to be a part of something or promote something, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not afraid or that those little voices in our head don't exist. It's more of like, which one are we going to choose to prioritize in this moment? Which one is more important to us in our lives? I think that's huge. Huge. Brittany said that you have all the bars today. Fear is less than desire. So I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you.
I love it. So we're going to listen to Folklore and Tales now and come back because you got to stay with us because Run for the Roses is coming up shortly. Here we go.
Folklore and tales, I was told. Where were you when they blew JFK away? Was it the Unions, was it the Cubans? It's hard to say. I'd say they were playing with mob rules that day. Folklore and tales, I was told. Folklore and tales, I was told. Meetings and greetings and telephone calls, just to iron out their final plans. On the day it all played into their hands. Folklore and tears, I was told. Folklore and tears, I was told. It all happened years before I was born, but it was folklore and tales I was told. And later in life I found out they were watching me as I tried to complete that real estate deal. Folklore and tales, I was told. Folklore and tales, I was told. I thought I'd read all the signs, crossed all the bridges and smiled, but the mob had other ideas, so they thwarted my plans with a team and a gun in their hands. I must say they play hard when they fight, just one bullet to kiss me goodnight. With drivers and doctors on their payroll on that night, that certainly took its toll. But I'm still here and looking for more, and my own story has become a tale and folklore. Folklore and tales that I hold. Folklore and tales that I hold. They call them the mafia or the mob. They are obviously born for the job. It's not something you plan to become, living your life dependent on a gun.
That was Folklore and Tales by Ray Coates, the third release as part of the Fall Guy album based on the life of John Cheetham. That song is so it just like it tells a story. And again, I go back to the comment that Danielle made that every song has this sort of haunting quality to it, even if it's upbeat, even if it brings happy feelings. It has this like this listen to me sort of.
Love that. Listen to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
I love
Good.
it. So that was Folklore and Tales, and the next release that you've been working on is Run for the Roses, which premiered today, worldwide release. We're very excited to be here. We're going to be here on all the release days, or just it's gonna, that's how we're gonna do it. But I love this, and it's corresponding with something that happens here in the U.S. This weekend. So the timing is unbelievable as well. Tell everybody about Run for the Roses.
Well, there's a connection very much with flying, as in a plane. That comes through in John's songs, the lyrics, because that's what happened. John effectively escaped Bulgaria. That's he flew the country, fled the country. Yeah, but another theme that comes through very much in the songs is horses and horse racing, because the American guy who was attempting to get John to purchase this land, as I mentioned earlier, purchased land for the racecourses. And there's a connection with many different races across the world. And tomorrow, or even today, I think has begun. So Run for the Roses is actually the name of one of the races. There's a further to that in, I think, one of the future songs, if not reference to, where John, when he could begin to effectively walk again, was taken to a local racecourse to present a trophy at the victory race. So the whole idea of this connection of horse racing, winning, the jockey, the horse, the person being triumphant, is effectively a wonderful analogy that has begun of John's life. So he's the thoroughbred, if you like, the stallion, if you like, who has fallen, and now is back up on the feet again to continue the race. And that this is the arrival, short of 5 songs for the album, of John's victory. And when we chose the order of the songs for the releases, I said, I don't want to skip the emotion. I don't want to miss the emotion. How can you lighten and gently jog along and trip along with a nice little breezy melody? What happened to John? So I'm very, very grateful to yourself and those that have acknowledged there are haunting qualities within the songs, because it was a haunting, traumatic experience. But now that sets us up absolutely beautifully to celebrate together the victory of one of our fellow human beings. And that's where we come together. We applaud, we say, yeah, woo, go. Absolutely amazing. Well done, you. Very, very un-British. Very, very un-British. But that's how we should be.
Yeah.
That's how we should be, because we should celebrate the victory. And John has been victorious, and Run for the Roses is John's victory song. Very much so.
I love it. Well, I don't want to wait any longer. We all want to hear Run for the Roses, and then we're going to come back and sum it all up for everybody this afternoon. So here is the world premiere of Run for the Roses by Ray.
I'm gonna run for the roses. Lying alone in my own cold war bed, it seems I came back from the dead. A car has screeched to a halt outside. It's a green light to go if they decide. If a bullet is the best you can do, then I must feel sorry for you. It is a terrible fate as I leave you today, with you in my trail. You can bet on your life I'm gonna run for the roses. You can bet on your life. Run for the roses. Airlifted into a wartime twin prop plane, feeling like I was just a man, taking up residence in the bird's home, 5,000 feet above the Black Sea coast. If a bullet is the best that you can do, then I must feel sorry for you. It is a terrible fate as I leave you today, with you in my trail. You can bet on your life I'm gonna run for the roses. You can bet on your life. Run for the roses. Run, run. I'm heading for the coast today. Run, run. Tell the folks back home I'm on my way. Bullet is the best that you can do, then I must feel sorry for you. Tell the folks back home I'm on my way, and the fall guy is leaving today. Yeah, you can bet on your life I'm gonna run for the roses. You can bet on my life. Run for the roses. Run, run. I'm headed for the coast today. tell the folks back home the fall guy is leaving today.
Woo, that was amazing. Amazing. So exciting. Oh my gosh. There was so much imagery that came into my head with that. And really, I think the words that you shared before the show, before this segment were so right that it's a victory song.
Yeah.
It's you can see everybody just crossing the finish line.
Yeah, yeah. And when you think of the journey of sharing those other feelings together, because they're part of being human, and then we share that feeling together too, where we celebrate the achievement, the accomplishment, the victory. And that includes everything. Of course, that's the case in John's case, but it's also the case every day, every single day. Every day that somebody gets up and thinks, do you know what? I'm really, really not feeling up to today. I just don't feel up to it. But you do it. You do whatever it is you do, whether that's a family, whether that's whatever it is. And there ain't many circumstances in those situations where somebody is going to say, well done for going to work today. A round of applause for going to work. But we do well to accentuate that more in the bigger things, of course. But these are representations of all of us, the victory. That line, I think you put it in a comment. I'm trying to follow along in YouTube as well. Yeah, if a bullet is the best you can do, I must feel sorry for you. So John's like, is that it?
Yeah.
Is that the best you've got? Wow, that's the victory over dark forces, and people that are destructive. And John's taken that and converted that into creativity. And I've had the joy to create the music and to sing these life-lived lyrics.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. The words are incredible. I did put that one word there and or quote there from the song, but there were so many words of that are just so descriptive um of our victory journey. And there are a couple of things. One, I love how this ties back to, we mentioned some of this on the show this morning without really planning that out. And so I love how it ties back to what we talked about on Project Joy this morning with celebrating those little things. Not everybody's going to clap for you for all of the achievements that you make. And so you really have to clap for yourself as well. And also, gosh, I'm such a I one of my favorite movies of all times is National Velvet with Elizabeth Taylor from back, and then that was over in takes place over in on your side of the pond, and there's the mother in that film is so full of wisdom and profound, and she's always sharing these thoughts with Velvet about life. And there's one scene where they go up to the attic and Velvet wants her horse to be in the race, and her mother had been she had won prize money for swimming the channel. And so she gives Velvet this prize money, and she said, things come suitable to the time, you'll know when to start this, and then you'll know when it's time to go on to the next thing. Now she hadn't even started to put the horse in the race yet, and she goes, the next thing. And she said, yeah, even if you win or whatever, no matter what the outcome is, it's like that victory, but then there's always going to be the next thing. And it feels so amazing to be able to be part of John's next thing right now, which is
wow. And the next things are absolutely massive. Part of this project, of course, Fall Guy and all of the elements of it, but there are many, many others as well. And we've come together. We're a happening. We're a synchronized two force energies coming together creatively, and that's how it should be. Look at what it's producing. It's producing great value musically and lyrically for others, Um, is it okay for me to just say something briefly before
Absolutely.
we
Yes.
conclude? Because I can forget these things at times, yeah. Which is, I know I've said it already, the book's available. John Cheetham Fall Guy, thank you. Thank you. John Cheetham Fall Guy, so that's available. 4 songs, you've heard them all, and very grateful for you listening. Thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you very much, everybody who's been involved in the project so far. There is a GoFundMe, and I mentioned that, and I will be sharing links, and if it's okay, I'll do that within the comments of here, because we're looking for people to become involved. We have 5 more songs to record, and the process takes time, it takes money. There are other things that we're investing in, and the best way I can describe it is we desire sponsorship. So for people to sponsor us, and we have set up the opportunity once we reach our target with the GoFundMe to then create vinyl versions, CD versions, memory stick versions of the album. So souvenirs, and also there'll likely be booklets as well. So the minimum GoFundMe is £5 UK sterling. Can't remember what that translates to American wise, but we welcome support. We welcome support. We're going to achieve this with more people becoming involved. And it's an incredible project. It's leading to more. So this is the opportunity for all those that desire to become involved at the relative genesis and beginning of the origins of this incredible project. And it's about supporting, yes, one person, but also one person who was attempted to be silenced and ignored, at best ignored by his own country. And we all have a responsibility, I feel, to support John's life, whether that be by Fall Guy the book. That's available from John's website, johncheethampoetry.co.uk. Whether that's downloading, streaming the music, sharing the music, or, which would be really, really amazing, supporting the GoFundMe, which means when we reach our target, £6,399, we're going to be able to not only complete the album, but also create vinyl versions, CD versions, memory stick versions as souvenirs for those that have become involved and others too.
I love it. I'm so excited to have contributed and just
Thank
watch
you.
this project
Thank you.
happen. We did put the link down in the comments for you guys, the GoFundMe link, so that you can be part of the project as well. And it doesn't have to be a huge gesture of all your savings. It can be something very small, and just have a little piece of this project, which we're really excited about. I'm so thankful that you were able to join us again today, Ray. And of course, welcome you back anytime you have a new song to share from this project or anything else that you do. I really think it's so important. You and I are on the same page about the importance of sharing people's stories and how that connects us all together and ultimately can change the world. And so I appreciate the work you do. I really do.
Thank you. Likewise, Jessica. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ray, for being here today. We appreciate you. And I want to give you guys a couple of thoughts coming up now. I'm really just thrilled that Ray was able to join us again today. Um, there's nothing I enjoy more really than having people back that have already been on the show before, and we get to see their journey. And of course, all those breakthroughs continue. As our time with Ray comes to a close today, I'm inspired and deeply moved by the profound impact of this music that we heard today. Ray, thank you again for joining us on the Breakthrough Show and for sharing the incredible journey of Run for the Roses and the whole Fall Guy album. Your dedication to bringing stories like John Cheetham's to life through music is a true testament to the power of artistic expression and achieving personal and collective breakthroughs. For everyone watching, I encourage you to explore Ray's music further, listen to his tracks wherever you stream music, and experience the magic of the melodies and stories that each song has the ability to tell. Each song is a gateway to understanding deeper truths about resilience, hope, and transformation. Don't forget to join us for the next episode of The Breakthrough Show, Clear from the Past, with another incredible guest, Jade Redder. We'll explore the transformative clear modality and how it's helping individuals free themselves from the past to activate the good in their lives. Thank you again, Ray, for your inspiring music and stories. And to everyone watching, remember that every day is a great day for a breakthrough. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.